I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity for Legacy Partners, Accounting and Finance. Part of accounting is going to definitely be taxes. So we're here with Jason Miller with Compass Accounting and Luke Miller, uh, not related directly as far as we know, anyone close, but still. Anyways, it's good to have Luke with Dreamscape Creations. And so we're going to be talking about taxes today. And so I'm 60 years old, started doing my own taxes when I was maybe, I don't know, 14, 15 years old. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world that I was doing taxes, like at 14, 15. Uh, and I don't know, probably a little weird, but I thought, I get given a lot. I'm blessed to be an American. I'm blessed to be in America. And I have so many benefits that, and if you're thinking, you were thinking all of this at like 14 and 15, yes, you would not be the first people to say I was a bit strange. But, anyways, I was thinking, I get a lot of benefits from being in America that I wouldn't get anywhere else in the world. I get the opportunity to have the opportunity. There needs to be infrastructure like roads and bridges and a whole bunch of other stuff. And there needs to be, a military, obviously, that's not inexpensive. And so at 14, 15, I said, I want to go ahead and pay my fair share. Like I think, and I wouldn't have had to even pay any taxes at the first year or so because I didn't go ahead and make above a certain amount, or I don't know. It was like maybe it was earlier, maybe it was 13, because I was doing lawn mowing and other types of things, and I just thought, well, this is the right thing to do, to pay taxes. Um, and so I did that. And as I got into doing taxes, I it's like, wow, there's a lot of things that you can write off as a business owner. And then, as it started going, um, like my first degree, college degree, my finance degree, I when I got married and stuff, I couldn't write that one off, I believe at the time, because that wasn't, that wasn't appropriate or something. Somehow it's like, eh. But the second marketing and management degree, I did write those off as business expenses. And then I traveled to, did vacation, but I looked and researched the IRS code and found out, hey, what are the requirements to go ahead and write off travel and meals and lodging, and cars? And should I depreciate the cars or should I do mileage? So all of those cool types of things. I thought it was cool. And so I'm so when I was in my 20s, I was more aggressive. I was more aggressive in writing more stuff off. The thing I don't like about business and I don't like about the tax code, it's not black and white. Like it's not like this is right, this is wrong. There's a whole bunch of gray. And my personality, man, doesn't like gray. It just doesn't like gray. And so as a business owner, you get to decide, you get to decide, um, how much you're going to write off. So I did my own taxes for 15 years. I'm glad I did. It's crazy how 30 years ago, principles haven't changed. Like, so I have a fairly strong understanding of the principles of taxes. And then I got my oldest brother, he's a CPA, owned his own, accounting firm and a bunch of other businesses. He did our taxes. That was traumatic for me, but I don't want to bring my trauma into your life. And I've worked with CPA and accounting, not just him, but others. And it's like, man, oh man, this is just like,
Why was having somebody else doing your taxes traumatic for you?
It wasn't. It was just having my brother do the taxes for me. Like, here's an example. Like we were going through a pretty, rough struggle. Things were really tight. We were getting pounded on multiple directions. And he said, "Hey, you owe $2,000, in taxes." My wife, and she's an she has her elementary education degree. She had, helped out and done stuff, bookkeeping and stuff like that. Let's say that is not one of her greatest gifts is finance, taxes, accounting. I was appreciative of that she did it, but that was not her strongest skill. And she went ahead and he said we needed to pay 2,000, and she says, "We don't, Mark. We don't need to, like, we don't owe it." So I didn't want to get into the details. Like, I didn't want to look at it, didn't want to go back through everything. I mean, it was complicated. And so she was pretty insistent, and she seemed like she knew what she was doing. And and I called my brother Vern. I said, "Hey, Vern, Roseanne is saying that, yeah, we don't owe it." He's like, "No, you do." And, don't argue with me because I'm an expert. And I'm like, "Okay." So we paid it. And then I don't know, the next year I got some notice or something that we overpaid by $2,000. And it just applied to the next year. And I'm like calling him, like, "Vern, what happened here?" He never acknowledged that he was wrong. He never, apologized. He just, well, whatever, whatever. In addition to that, it was always the last minute, didn't know what it was, didn't know, like, there was no tax planning, no preparation. Didn't seem like there was any systems other than just throw everything at the wall at the last second. And, when I'm in the tax season, it was like, "Hey, you're like, you're doing taxes worse than I am, like I did." And I didn't, that's not my profession. So, so there's stuff like that. And so I don't know what it was, 6 years ago, I think it was, whatever it was, Jason started doing our taxes. And I'm telling you, I mean, not perfect, nothing's perfect, but it was like exceptionally better, like out in front of stuff. And he would, he would listen to me, and he'd be like, "How aggressive do you want to get on this, on writing things off?" And so, when we first started, things were really tight. That's the benefit of things being tight. You don't end up owing a lot of taxes. As things turned around and got better, it'd be like middle of the road, like, and it seemed like he really, understood better than my brother, better than the other tax professionals, all of that kind of stuff. And so, in paying your taxes as a business owner, I would consider it a privilege. I wouldn't consider it a duty. I mean, that's my philosophy. Like, I am so grateful and thankful that I live in America and have the freedoms I do to be an entrepreneur, because you can't get these kind of freedoms anywhere else in the world. It's only in America. And America is broken. I believe it is. It's really messed up. And what they do with our taxes, that's just messed up too. And the regulations, oh, that's mess. I mean, it's just a mess. It really is. And so, but that doesn't excuse me. Like, two wrongs don't make a right. Hopefully we were all trained that. So that doesn't excuse me, from cheating out the government. What is cheating? That's the thing. And there's a lot of tax codes and a lot of crazy stuff and all of this kind of stuff. And so if you're struggling, if there's tension, like, how much should I pay? I'm not saying like, I do believe that by and large, I'm going to go ahead and use the money, steward the money better. My money that I work hard, but God's given me the ability to work hard, to have the parents I had that taught me the work ethic, the health that I can. So it's not me as a amazing person. It's not that at all. It's it's I have the ability to steward my 7 T's: time, talent, treasure, trust, truth, temple, and thought. And if I have, if I'm making more money, more profit, Like I want a bulk of that not to be consumed by myself, my wife, or my kids or grandkids. I want that to be invested back into more businesses or given away to cause or to do both of those. What Dreamscape is doing is just absolutely genius in being able to provide opportunities for young men to learn a trade, to get into construction, and to help out in the community. It's just brilliant when you can blend those things together. Did that in real estate when I was 15 too. That's another story for another time. So I guess what I'm trying to convey is I'm trying to convey that it's okay to have tension. It's okay to pay what you're responsible to pay, and not more and not less. But that's not black and white. There's not a right and wrong on that. And so if you have tension where we wouldn't have to pay this, but we could, if you have tension, I think that's a good place to be. I think there's different seasons in life. Um, there's different seasons in life when you're up and going and you got a young family and you got a young family and you got a business that needs a lot of a lot of capital. You might be then, where you're running more aggressively on the tax write-offs. So unfortunately, it's not black and white. You're not, it's not like you're a great citizen or you're a thief. You're stealing from the. It's not that. I mean, there are those. There are that you are a thief. There are things that are illegal to do, and you should never do that. But there's a whole bunch of gray out there that you struggle with in going through that. So get a great accounting firm, somebody who really understands taxes, knows the laws, going to go ahead and help you pay your fair share, and protect you from getting into trouble and the people around you from getting into trouble. So that kind of lays the foundation, I think, out to where my heart is and saying, hey, I started this 45 plus years ago. And, I've been blessed and want to bless other people. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that are sharing that kind of stuff, teaching that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of business people may have that kind of an idea. Um, Jason, your thoughts, questions, insights on any of that?
Mm, no, it makes sense. Some of that too is I'd be careful in using debt to be aggressive in writing off taxes because that just adds can add to your problems in the future. Um, so if you have the capital, then yeah, I think it's okay to wrestle with it back and forth on what you want to do and stuff like that. But going and borrowing money for something you may or may not necessarily need just to get out of taxes is maybe not as recommended or stuff like that. But
For sure. I mean, it's again, there's a lot of different pieces. It's like playing chess versus checkers. You know, chess, there's a lot of moves and there's a lot of counter moves and things are always shifting, here and there. Luke, do you have questions or thoughts on what I said or Jason said?
No, not really. I guess trust the accountant is kind of what I need to
I didn't
do.
say that. Um, I, I didn't say that. I mean, I would get my advice would be I would get a trustworthy accountant, tax professional. I would get a trustworthy, accountant. So I get somebody who's trustworthy, you
Uh-huh.
know, but know, I would definitely know as much as you possibly can about taxes because you're the one in the trenches every single day. And how do you go ahead and write off meals? How do you go? What are the IRS requirements to doing that? And that's one of the things about Compass Accounting. They're a totally different mean, I've not only worked with my brother, we've had lots of clients who are CPAs. I've worked with CPAs for decades. Um, there's some, there's a very few good ones. There's a lot of bad ones, some a lot in between. But Compass Accounting is a different type of firm that's, I've never experienced before in my life. And so I'd encourage, so, but I wouldn't say trust them, Luke. I would say that you want to be, especially at the young age, you want to be familiar with, I mean, anything like Compass is like they do a lot of volunteer, a lot of big into education to be able to educate not only their clients, but beyond. And this is the thing that I love about their heart is they want to educate people, not just their clients, but beyond. And so anything that you can do, Luke, to be familiar with the tax code and what's acceptable, what's not, what documentation. This is, I don't know, years ago I ran into something. I'm like, really? Like, man, and I don't remember the specific, but the big picture was a business person went ahead and went and approached some type of financial situation, this way, A versus B. The end results were the exact same thing. I mean, exactly the same thing. But they approached it A and it was illegal. And they got into a lot of trouble. If they had structured it B, then everything would have been fine. I'm like, something's just wrong in that situation. End result, same thing. But the path you take to get there is just, and so, when you're talking with your accountant, your tax professional, they have a lot of responsibilities on their shoulders to understand the law and to go ahead and uh, and to approach it from a perspective of knowledge and wisdom and being able to do it. So, but yeah, no, learn everything you can, especially when you're young. I'm very thankful. I didn't need to go ahead and do my taxes for 15 years. Why did I do it? I don't know. I enjoyed it for 3 to 5 years. And then I just needed to do it. I felt, financially saving money. If I had to do it all over again, if Compass was around, I would have had them do it. I just would have, because it's not the highest and best use of my time as a business owner to mess around with that kind of stuff and to know that stuff. They will save you. A good accounting tax firm will save you so much more money than you could ever go ahead and spend that you would invest. I mean, it's just time and money is just worth it. Other questions or thoughts, Luke, you have?
How do I educate myself, I guess? Is it through my accountant or through just Googling stuff or?
You can do both. I mean, be a little careful, obviously, with Google. It doesn't know everything. And so be a little careful with that. But yeah, I think, you're on, I believe, the accounting dashboard. And so that gives you, I would definitely recommend that for business owners too. Like that helps you in some really cool things. Really, really cool things. And so I think there's that, the Library Life Masteries Institute, Compass Accounting goes ahead and, does a lot of volunteer work with Life Masteries Institute, other nonprofits, community-based organizations, and educational types of things to educate their clients and beyond. And so I think, and they've got some really cool systems that they're building and will be building. Um, and so being able to go through, I think being curious and, like knowing that there are specific requirements. If you go ahead and mix business with pleasure, you go on vacation and it's a business trip too, what are the IRS requirements for that? What are the IRS requirements for, when go out to eat, and entertainment, the same type of thing. Like all of those things. I mean, there's a lot of business done on the golf course, big time, a lot of business. So business owners, they do business everywhere. And so, the tax code provides opportunities for you to go ahead and write off, and that's where, should you go ahead and be an employee or a independent contractor. I'm big on independent contractors, but you got to do that right. You got to do that right. You got to know what are the requirements for that, and so to be able to do that. So there's a lot of tax benefits. There's a lot of benefits overall on being an independent contractor, but there are laws, and we need to understand those laws and follow those. So a lot of it's curiosity and investing time into some of those pieces and ask questions and doing, honestly, podcasts like this. Like if you go ahead, and so Jason or somebody from Compass Accounting can get on and share, like you could have a whole library of these kind of podcasts for business owners, honestly. Like, what's it take? You could have just short podcasts for what is it for, writing off, meals or entertainment or, education or those type of things, and just do little podcasts on those things. It's just, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and you just have a whole library of those things. You do 5 minutes a week or something like that. It's crazy how much knowledge you'll accumulate over the years. Good question. Other questions, Luke?
I don't think so.
Jason, any other thoughts or anything?
No, I think it was good.
All right. So if you're listening to the podcast or watching it, share it with other business owners for sure. As we help others, they help us. As their businesses grow, our business grows. As our business grows, their business grows. When the tide rises, all the ships rise together. We can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Oh, one other real quick thing. So there's a 30-minute, there's a 3-minute personality assessment through Life Masteries Institute. They're a wonderful nonprofit organization. And then there's volunteers and staff with Life Masteries too that does a 30-minute gift. It's a strategy session based on your personality. And so, if you haven't done that, I don't know, it's somewhere probably here where you can go ahead and do that and pass that along to other people. Seriously, like, we're not taught in business how to go ahead and collaborate with other businesses. Where we're helping them, they're helping us and doing all kinds of stuff. If you have an opportunity to participate in a coffee connection, do that without question. And if you don't have one that's local, well, then start one. All you need is yourself and one other person. It's that easy. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.